All right, y'all, let's get into it. So, as y'all have noticed, which, every time that I leave, I gotta bring awareness to it. I've been MIA for the last, a week or so, I would say. I was getting more consistent with the content, and then I fell off. And I'll be honest, the reason why is because I failed to follow some of my own rules. I failed to stick to my guns, to leave at the first sign of a red flag. I failed to remove myself once my energy is being depleted from me. I just all around, I faltered on a lot of the things that I preach every day. And that's why when I tell y'all I'm struggling with this stuff as I'm talking about it, and I really need to go back to my old videos sometimes to remind myself who I am, I mean that. And I want this to serve as a reminder to you as well. If you've fallen off, that does not mean you cannot get back up. That does not mean that you are stuck where you don't want to be. There are going to be days where you fall off. There's going to be days where those healthy habits that you've been building, you don't maintain them. There's going to be days where you fall off. You don't go to the gym. It's going to be weeks sometimes where you don't go to the gym. There's going to be a day where you might be a healthy eater most days of the week, but this day specifically, you just want junk food, and you feed into that temptation and you eat it, and then you feel like crap, but you still are not immediately unhealthy the moment that you eat something unhealthy. You still have not lost all progress just because you've fallen back, or just because you relapsed in some capacity does not mean that you cannot get back what you were just working for. You have to just get back up at the end of the day. And I'm not going to say that it's easy, and I'm not going to say that temptation may get a tighter grip on you to an extent, to where now I got to do a little bit more work. Now I got to do this in order to get rid of this habit, or maybe I need to go to therapy, or maybe I need to talk to this person about it. Whatever the case may be. Don't ever think that backsliding a little bit means all is lost. All is not lost. All of the work that you've been doing up until this point, the moment that you're able to kind of catch a breath and reel it back in, you're going to have this toolbox filled with tools, not this empty toolbox that you can't do anything with. So I say all that to get to the point where I explain where I was starting to go wrong and how I'm fixing it, so that way I can offer y'all some advice. I allowed myself to get caught up in a situation that was absolutely 110% not becoming of me. I allowed myself to accept the bare minimum and to pick up breadcrumbs and feast off of them from somebody. And with all the work I've done, I thought I would never even be in a situation like this again, because I thought, you're past that. You're not going to allow that anymore. And just because you overcome it in one scenario or with one person does not mean, oh, it's over, it's done, the work is done, I don't need to do any more work. You have to maintain that. Like, if you have a boundary, you're not going to allow somebody to lie to you, for example. The moment that somebody lies to you, you have to stand on that, and you got to do it every time. And there's going to be times where you'll know the truth and you'll want to choose to believe the lie because you want to keep that person around. But let me tell you, that will never stop them from lying to you. That will never make them respect you the way that you want to be respected. It may keep them around for longer. It probably will. But let me tell you what they're thinking. They allowed me to lie to them. I can lie to them as much as I want to. They allowed me to mistreat them. I can mistreat them as much as I want to. They're allowing me to give them breadcrumbs, so I'm going to keep giving them breadcrumbs. But you know what the truth of the matter is? The more they are able to breadcrumb you, the less breadcrumbs they give you. Now they were giving you a little validation here. They were calling you here or there, texting you here or there, acting like you're the only person in the world when you're around. But week over week, day over day, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second, they're starting to test the waters to see, okay, I gave them 50 breadcrumbs yesterday. Today I'm going to give them 25. Tomorrow I'm going to give them 20. Maybe the next day I'll give them 35. I'm going to bring it back up a little bit. Then I'm going to go down to 5. 5 turns into 1. 1 turns into 0. Now you're just grasping for air like a fish out of water. And you did all that for nothing. And that's the thing about emotional and mental forms of abuse. They're so subtle and they happen over time. It's a gradual thing. When somebody hits you, that's it. Like, that's the abuse right there. When somebody's abusive towards you, they're breadcrumbing you, they're manipulating you, they're lying to you, that's a systematic type of pain and wound. So it's not gonna hit you nearly as fast. It's not gonna be nearly as obvious to you. And because it's not obvious to you, you might continue to allow it and condition yourself to continue to allow abuse, mistreatment, manipulation, lying, all of the things. So with all of that said, first off, don't allow yourself to ever think, oh, because I fell off in this scenario or I fell off with this person, this means all is lost. I might as well go back to square one. I'm all by myself in this and nobody's ever going to treat me right, or I'm never going to get past this point where I let myself continue to have an allegiance to losers. That's just not true. You have to take your power back, though. So how do you take your power back? Well, what I had to do was I had to sit down and I had to think about, okay, is this really serving me? Is this really pouring into me the way that I'm pouring into it? The answer was no. Then I had to figure out, okay, why? Why is it not? Figured that out. Then I had to figure out, why am I allowing this? Why do I keep allowing myself to be in these situations with people that are not becoming of me? Like, I know who I am, I know what I deserve, and I keep accepting less than that. Why? And then I had to sit down and I had to think about, you know what? Your childhood conditioned you to believe that love is something that it is not. Your childhood conditioned you to believe that subtle forms of manipulation are love. Your childhood led you to believe that being super disrespectful in one moment and then turning around and coding it with I love you is acceptable, and that's how you love somebody. No. You do something disrespectful, you have to do the work to gain that person's respect back. And the fact that you are doing the work to get their respect back, that's what's going to prove that you love that person, not just you saying it. Actions not matching words, I was conditioned to that. So now, what do I do to heal my inner child to understand you don't deserve that? You deserve so much more than that. You deserve a real love. You deserve something that's not manipulative, not lying, not controlling, not deceptive. Anybody that's lying to you or not telling you the truth for any reason does not have your best interest in heart. Let's just keep it a whole buck, a whole stack. And people will disguise their actions, their crappy actions, with, oh, I was just trying not to hurt you. Whether you lie to me and I find out and that's what I get hurt by, or you tell me the truth and it hurts my feelings, you're going to hurt me anyway. I'd rather you hurt me with the truth so that way I can figure out how to move around with it than for me to sit here and eat up your lies And then not only be upset that you lied, but now I'm upset with myself because I allowed you to lie to me. And now my intelligence is being kind of questioned to an extent, because how did you not see the lie? Or God forbid they gaslit you and you knew it was a lie and you called it for what it was, and now you feel even dumber because you knew, and you talked yourself out of knowing what you knew. My energy's been drained. Pay attention when your energy is getting drained. I even got to a point where I was willing to allow that person to continue to manipulate, to lie, to breadcrumb, because I wanted to keep them around that bad. I would allow them to do that over losing them. That was actually a thought in my head. And you know what that comes from? An abusive, traumatic past that I had not fully healed from. So now that I know what work I need to do in order to stop allowing this, now I'm doing the work. Now I'm doing better. Now I'm back. And every time I come back, I'm back and I'm better than ever. So just remember this. I know it's kind of all over the place because that's where my thoughts are. It's all over the place. I'm not fully 100% yet, but I'm getting there. And I had to tell y'all, first off, this is why I haven't been as attentive to this as I need to be, as I would like to be. And second off, we're revamping again. Every time I fall back, I backslide, I revamp and I go like 50 feet, 50 steps further than I was before. So remember that too. It always rains before a rainbow. The storm comes before the rainbow or the sun. But once you get into that sunny part, oh baby, sometimes you be glad that you went through certain stuff. So that way you don't have to keep going through it. And I thank God for my trials and my tribulations. Because if I was never put in these situations, if I never put myself in these situations, I would have no wisdom. And I wouldn't be able to try and give y'all any type of advice on these things. And early 20s in general, navigating them is tricky. Any advice I can get from somebody in my position or was in my position, I eat it up, because I've started to learn that learning from other people's experiences hurts me way less in the long run and allows me to avoid having to get spearheaded in order for me to learn the lesson. So that's all I got for y'all today. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see y'all in my next video.